Hello everyone, welcome to Law Lecture Series. Today we are going to discuss about powers and functions of the Union Executive. In my earlier video, I discussed about the Union Executive. Now, with that continuity, we are going to discuss about the powers and functions of the Union Executive. The powers and functions of the President can be classified under three heads: judicial function, legislative function, and executive function. These powers and functions of the president are not absolute. The president is not allowed to act independently. He have to discuss with the concerned ministry or a council of ministers to decide on a matter. Under judicial functions, the president has power of pardon under Article 72. Under this power, the president can give a pardon to a convicted person. He may reprieve, respite, remit, suspend, or commute the punishment. So, not only the commutation of the capital punishment into a life imprisonment, either he may release a person or the punishment may be postponed or temporarily the punishment may be stopped. These are all the powers given to the president under Article 72. When the president can exercise his power of pardon. First, circumstances where the punishment or sentence is by the court martial. Second, circumstances where the punishment or a sentence for an offense against a law relating to a matter to which union's executive power extends. Generally, the president can exercise his pardoning power towards the laws enacted by the parliament. Third circumstance, death sentence. Whenever the death sentence is given by the either Supreme Court or a High Court, he can exercise the power of pardon. But the president is not allowed to act independently. The advice of the Home Minister should be taken into consideration before he decides on the mercy petition. The Kehat Singh versus Union of India is an important constitution bench judgment on power of pardon. The Kehat Singh was one of the accused person in the Indira Gandhi assassination case. He was convicted under section 302 and 120B of IPC. Later, he filed a mercy petition before the president. But the petition was rejected without stating any reason. The rejection of the mercy petition has been challenged before the Supreme Court on the ground that the president fails to provide opportunity before the rejection of the petition. This was the contention raised by the accused person. After analyzing all the materials on record, the Supreme Court held that the president power under Article 72 is open to the president. It's not required for the president to give an opportunity for the accused person before disposing of the petition. It's exclusively an executive nature. The discretion is vested with the president. The other important cases on the power of pardon are State of Punjab versus Joginder Singh. In this case, the Supreme Court held that Article 72 is absolute. This Article 72 can't be fettered by the statutory provisions. For example, under section 432 of the CRPC, the government have a power to release a convicted person from a jail. This power is exclusively given to the state government. It can't be fettered under Article 72. And further, the Supreme Court held that Article 72 is subject to judicial review, but it can be excised only on the limited grounds. Another important case is Union of India versus Sriharan. This case has been filed by one of the convicted person in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. As you all know, there was a delay in deciding mercy petition of the Rajiv Gandhi assassination convicted persons. The mercy petition was filed before the President of India in the year of 2000, but it was rejected in the year of 2011. There was a delay of 11 years in deciding mercy petition. This has been challenged before the Supreme Court. After analyzing all the records, the Supreme Court held that commuted the punishment of capital punishment as a life imprisonment. They have reduced the punishment from capital punishment into life imprisonment. And further, the court held that the orders passed under Article 72 can be challenged before the Supreme Court. Under Article 72, the President can exercise power of pardon. Under Article 161, the Governor can exercise the power of pardon. The next one is legislative powers. Under legislative powers, the President can participate in the proceedings of the Parliament. As a custom, whenever the session starts, on the first day, the President used to give speech in the Lok Sabha and as well as Rajya Sabha. And whatever may be the bill, after passing by the both houses, it has to be sent to the President for the assent. After the bill got assent, it becomes act. For all the bills requires the assent of the President, but in few occasions the prior approval of the President is required. Those circumstances are formation of new state. Under Article 3, whenever the government decides to form a new state or changes the names of the state or boundaries, it requires the prior recommendation of the President. Next, the second circumstances is money bill. The money bill can't be passed without prior recommendation of the President. The third circumstance is expenditure from the Consolidated Fund of India. Under Article 117, Clause 3, the government is not allowed to use the Consolidated Fund of India without the prior recommendation of the President. Next, whenever a bill affecting a tax which involves the interest of the state, the prior recommendation of the President is required. Under these four circumstances, the prior recommendation is necessary before enacting a law. In all other circumstances, in final stage, the President used to give a assent to the bill. Next, the rule making power. This power is given to the President under various provisions. First one is under Article 77, Clause 2, authentication of orders, an instrument made and executed in the name of the President. Generally, whatever may be the orders and instrument entered by India, it should be entered in the name of the president. Second one is conditions of services, audit and accounts department under Article 148 clause 5. Next, secretariat and staff of the parliament under Article 98 clause 3. Procedure to be laid down by the president for conducting joint session in the parliament. So whenever there is a deadlock in the bill, the president may call for joint session to pass a bill. To conduct those joint sessions, the rule should be created by the president. And then dual membership of the parliament and state legislature. These are all the few occasions where the president can make rules. Apart from this, whenever the statute provides power to the president, from time to time he makes rule for those matters. The next power is declaration of emergency. Under Article 352, the president can declare the emergency on 3 grounds: war, external aggression and armed rebellion. Then the president can declare the president rule or a governor rule in the state whenever there is a failure in the constitution machinery. In practical sense, they used to call it as a state emergency, but in our Indian constitution there is no concept of state emergency. We used to call the state emergency as failure of constitution machinery in the state. Under Article 356, the president can declare the president rule or a governor rule based upon the report given by the governor, or sometimes the president may act when he feels that the situation is not good in the state, or whenever the government loses the majority in the state legislature, the president rule may be implemented in the concerned state. Next one is financial emergency. This emergency also can be declared by the president. But these 3 emergencies, national emergency, failure of constitution machinery, and third one is financial emergency. These emergencies can be declared by the president only after consulting the Council of Ministers and as well as Prime Minister. He is not allowed to declare the emergency without consulting the Prime Minister as well as Council of Ministers. It's not an absolute power. He has to consult with the Council of Ministers as well as Prime Minister. The next important function is ordinance making power. Under Article 123, the president have a power to make an ordinance when the parliament is not in session. This power can be exercised by the president only in unforeseen situation. That is to handle the urgent situation when the parliament is not in session. As we know that the parliament will not function for 365 days. The parliament functions only in 3 sessions. One is monsoon session, winter session and budget session. In rest of the days, the parliament will not function. In those situations, whenever the urgency arises, the president have to pass a ordinance. This ordinance should be passed after getting aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. The ordinance came into an end, or the ordinance lapses in the following circumstances: when the resolution is passed in the parliament for disapproving the ordinance. Second circumstances, whenever the ordinance is not replaced with the act within a stipulated period. Third one is, sometimes the executive himself may lapse the ordinance without passing a law in the parliament. And final one is the government may withdraw the ordinance at any time. So they can withdraw the ordinance whenever they require. So these are all the circumstances the ordinance may come to an end. The important case on the ordinance power is that Jnanendra Kumar versus Union of India. In this case, the Industrial Dispute Amendment Ordinance was reissued thrice on 11th October 1995, 5th January 1996, and 27th March 1996. This has been challenged before the Delhi High Court. The Delhi High Court held that it's constitutionally valid because the government stated that due to busy schedule of the parliament, they could not able to pass a law to replace the ordinances. This contention has been accepted by the Delhi High Court and held the ordinance as a valid one. The final function is executive function. Under Article 53 and 73, the President can exercise the executive functions. Apart from that, Article 299, under Article 299, the President can enter into the contract on behalf of the India Union. And next one is the power to issue directions to the states from time to time by the President. And third one is appointment of various high officials like Election Commissioner, members of UPSC, Attorney General of India, Comptroller Auditor General, and High Court and Supreme Court judges. Apart from this, sometimes the Parliament may give power to the appointment of various functions, various chairmen or chairpersons through a statutory laws. So those functions also should be exercised by the President from time to time for the effective administration. Thank you.